Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar from Higher Education Marketing, HEM. Our title and our topic today is Bringing More Organic Traffic to Your School's Website with Inbound Marketing. I wanted to tell you a little about HEM in case you're not familiar with us. We are a digital marketing agency that is focused exclusively on serving the education sector. So we are in our 16th year. And all this time, we've been serving only schools. We serve schools of all types, levels, so career college, professional development, K-12, language schools, colleges and universities. We just serve that unique sector, though, when it comes to attracting and nurturing and converting new prospective students online through digital marketing. It's a whole different ballgame from any other online marketing approach. So we specialize in this. That's why we're here, and we're glad you've come to join us. Our presenters today, I'm joined by my colleague, Blanca Casalo. Blanca's been with HEM a lot longer than I have. Blanca, good morning. How you doing?
Good, you?
Doing well, doing well. And this audience has been up all day, so we're just getting rolling here on the East Coast of North America. We both work in the Montreal area. We're based here. We serve schools worldwide at HEM, and Blanca has been in charge of our content and content marketing, and specifically inbound this whole time. So she's a great person to have on board. Looking forward to working with you. So let's walk through what we're going to cover in today's presentation. We're going to define inbound marketing, exactly what we mean by that, and we'll walk through a lot of the fundamentals. What are the pieces you need to have in place in order to have a sound inbound or content marketing strategy, being audience, keywords, and marketing messages. We're going to talk about how to write that content. That's maybe the toughest part for some of you. And then about how we go about sharing, promoting, and formatting that content so that it's most visible and relevant to your audience. And then, of course, we always track at HEM the reporting on your progress, trying to track how you're doing. I want to remind you also that every person who registered for this webinar, you'll get the recording and the slide deck that we're showing. So you'll receive that in the email either tomorrow or Monday. So you will receive that. No need to scribble notes furiously. We do encourage you to ask questions as we're going along. So there's a questions Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom meeting menu. So please click there and drop those questions in at any time during the webinar. We'll answer them at the end of your webinar. So let's begin as we define inbound marketing, and people might think, well, how is that different from SEO or search engine optimization? Well, technically, SEO is really specifically about that keyword research, understanding the keywords that engage most and are searched for most in your school's category, in your niche. And then in engaging those or putting those keywords in your coding, in your titles, in your tags of your website, in your content, and the words that you write on your website. And there are all these different aspects technically of search engine optimization. And so you might think inbound marketing's, a whole different animal. It's the same animal. Inbound marketing is SEO. It's an integral part of a complete search engine optimization strategy because it takes those keywords and it helps infuse them into your content and into really everything that you do so that the messaging that you're writing about is basically tripping the triggers of Google when it comes to identifying you in search. But we also want to identify those keywords with your audience in mind. So we're going to talk a lot about understanding who your audience is, and what you want to do is have all the messaging that is in each of those circles, in your social media, your email, in your boosted post, your blogs. Every time you're putting a message out and including a link with it, you want that link to draw them back inbound to your website. So this is really that engagement aspect of a complete SEO strategy. That's what inbound is all about. Putting the messages out with a link to drive them back inbound. And the big idea is ultimately you're going to provide your audience content that is useful, relevant, and helpful for them. And in doing so, you're going to build a relationship. You're going to build trust, and you're going to build that role as a thought leader in their mind. And that's why inbound marketing and SEO, it's all done with the intent of driving more organic traffic to your website. Organic meaning we didn't involve ads at all. This is just messaging, and it's out there, and it didn't cost anything to put it out there. That organic traffic, because they build that relationship, that trust, when that user who's on your website fills out a form on your website, that is a highest quality lead, because they've already read a few articles or a few pages that has impressed them and brought, again, that relationship, that trust. Once they fill out the form, they're a high quality lead because they're already halfway in the door. They're interested. They've liked what they've read so far. They want to learn more. And that's a very engaged and high quality lead. So that's what we're going to talk about. As you know, at HEM, we always like to poll our audience. And so we want to ask today's webinar audience this first question. Do you post blogs, social media, email content with that focused objective of driving traffic to your website? Do you do that strategically to engage them and bring them back inbound to you? So go ahead and vote. The voting is flying. Love this. Love this. And we're still, I think we've got, oh, wait, one last one in there. Okay. So that's awesome. You can see a majority of you are saying, yes, we do this with intent. So that's great. So you're here to kind of go to the next level. And then a few of you on honesty, right? Because in time, and meaning time in your day, sometimes you're able to get that post out, but you just didn't put as much behind it strategically as you might have wished or hoped you could. So that's absolutely honest and very much a reality for all of us. So thank you for voting there. So let's talk about, many of you are doing this. Let's see if we can help you to do it better. And the first steps are these fundamentals in understanding, your audience. And what we're going to do is we're going to research our audience because it's going to inform us so that our content is relevant, useful, and shareable for them. We do so by building audience personas. Now, there may be one persona, there may be multiple personas at your school. And what we're trying to define is who are those types of people who are most likely going to be a prospective student for you, for the programs you have to offer. And that may be 2 or 3 different types of people. So think of 2 or 3 different types of personas. In building a persona, we want to consider not just their background and their demographics, also their motivations. Why do they want to come to this school for this program? What do they want to do next? What are their challenges? What are their questions and their pain points? So we really want to kind of dig deeper down into who they are and what drives them. So it begins with what we typically do when we think of personas. We look at their background, their age, where are they from, what is their situation. So that's a given. And what I'm walking through here is basically a mock-up of the way we build personas at HEM. We get a little more in depth, so this is made a little more brief for presentation purposes, but we want to talk about who these folks are and their background. We want to, again, understand why it is that they want to take this program, get this diploma, earn this certificate. And think also about what do they want to do next? What are they going to do with that? What is it going to allow them to do? And this really gets into a lot of the reasons why they want to take this course. And we also want to dig down and understand honestly, truthfully, what are the questions that come up and the concerns. Think about those concerns of your existing prospective students and the conversations you have with them. What are some of the reasons they choose not to attend and enroll? Think about those types of things and list them out here, and they may be different for each persona. There may be some shared concerns, often some unique ones. So we're building background, motivations, questions, concerns. And the next step after we've built each persona is we want to build from that key marketing messages. Your key marketing messages for your school. Well, think of, later tonight, if you're at a friend's house, some people are over and they ask you, oh, well, why would I choose to attend that school? Why would I consider your school? And you'll immediately have your bullet points. Well, there's this and there's that, and there's all these reasons. I've got 5 or 6 right here. Think of those top selling points or unique value propositions of your school. What does your school offer that makes it unique in the marketplace? And think in a marketing sort of way, but really more in a student recruitment sort of way. Rather than rattling off your selling points, we're going to take each one of those points and we're going to basically match them up with a motivation or a concern or a question of your persona. And we're going to rewrite each selling point so that it answers their question, calms their concern, fuels their motivation. Now, our key marketing messages become talking points, or in this case, writing points. These are the points from which we're going to create all of our content so that it's relevant, useful to your audience. So there's that really important next step of not only creating the persona, but also the key marketing messages that's going to speak to that audience. And now, what may be easy for some, but a tripping point for others, we're going to shift gears into the keyword research element of this kind of preparation before we even take action in our strategy. What we're going to do is help you to understand how to find the keywords that fit your school best. And the first place we encourage you to go is to your Google Search Console. So if you haven't been there before, just go into Google and type Google Search Console into the query, and it'll take you to this place. And if you're the webmaster of your website, it'll link directly to the Google Search Console of your website. And what this takes you to is a list of all the performance aspects of your website in terms of search queries. One of the first places, and really we're just going to show you this really simple one place to go to help with your keyword research. On the far left, go to, in the menu bar under Performance, click on Search Results. And your first availability in the tabs across the top should be Queries. This is going to tell you which keyword queries have engaged the most clicks on your website, so visitors to your website, as well as impressions. That just means, which queries were you visible for as an answer to the query in the search engine result page. You want to sort by clicks. You could sort by impressions as well, but this helps you understand in terms of clicks what keywords are driving the most traffic to your website today. So you want to make note of these, and you could scroll and it'll go on, but you want to make note of these keyword combinations. And then you also want to go to the next tab and go to Pages. This tells you which pages on your website are receiving the most traffic from, the top pages, most clicks. And pay attention to the words that are on that page, whether it's a blog page or a program page, maybe your home page. But look at the keywords that are on that page in your writing of the website. All of this can be added to your list of keywords that you're researching. And then we want to take that list that you're building and plug them into an online tool, because let's face it, the keywords we've just found are keywords you already know. You just identified them. But what you can do is go into Google Ads Keyword Planner, or these tools like SEMrush, Moz, or Bing Chat even. And you can drop in the keywords or a couple of keyword phrases and it will suggest more. Or you can ask Chat GPT, what are some additional keywords to the phrase, and fill out that blank, fill out that phrase. So that's how you can think of more and more keywords. And tools like Google Ads, SEMrush, and Moz will help to measure how much traffic and how much engagement each of those keywords get as well. So you can understand maybe there are some keywords you're missing and opportunities there. And that's how you want to be able to really the core elements of doing your keyword research to understand what's working best for me and how can I expand that reach. And a last mention on keywords is just to keep in mind the importance of branded and non-branded and the difference there. Your branded keywords are those with your school name in them. Clear as bell, right? On the left. The non-branded are really what we also call topical keywords. These are more likely the keywords that you want to rank for, because this is more how your prospective students are going to search for a program like that. They more often search by what they want to learn rather than where they want to learn it, because they want to compare and look at options. They might have some schools in mind, but they're going to do a search with non-branded keywords most likely, and that's where you want to try to rank best, and those are the keywords you want to position best. So this comes to our second poll question, and we want to get a feel for how much you guys are researching your top performing keywords in your school's category and specialty, and how you're implementing them. So if you can please vote for us. Are you researching those keywords? And are you implementing them? And Blanca, these results are a lot more indicative of the folks we serve, right? I mean, it's when we first talk with them, they're doing some keyword, but it's not necessarily all the time or super strategic, right, Blanca?
Exactly. Often schools have some basic ideas of keywords that they need to use, but the research is, as I've said, basic and not thorough in terms of looking for the keywords that they can also strategically rank better for.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a tough part of it, but another tough part of it that Blanca is going to take over from this point is about writing your content with inbound marketing in mind. Take it away, Blanca.
Thanks. So Scott has explained really well the different types of keywords and the process of finding them, and why it's important for your school to do this step in terms of your inbound marketing strategy. So when it comes to using your chosen keywords in your content, our team follows like some specific guidelines. So for example, we make sure to include the correct keywords in our headings, incorporate them strategically throughout the content, and also take care of the meta elements that also need to be taken into account when it comes to search results. So let me share also with you a few quick tips from our team, so it could be maybe easier for you to integrate your keywords into your content. So plan the headings wisely. So after you've decided which keywords to use, start by creating the main topics headlines that you want to write about. After that, you can just take your list of your keywords and put it aside for a while, and instead focus on writing your topics, your content naturally. You'll often see that when you do that, you'll incorporate the keywords because you know them. You'll research them, you'll see them, you'll incorporate them as you go. But after you have written the content, make sure to go reread it and make sure that the chosen keywords are within that content. Just be careful to not use too many keywords. So if you don't use keywords, it can harm your SEO. If you use too many keywords, it can harm it as well. So you have to be, there has to be a balance in it. So remember also when you create SEO content, it's important to keep your audience in mind. One effective way to do this is by including frequently asked questions in your blog content. For these, the same as keywords need to be researched with the same tools as Scott has pointed out earlier. So in our cases, our SEO specialists incorporate them in the list of keywords they research for our clients. So by including these, you need to not only, it will not only help your content align with your audience's concerns and questions, but also make it more organized, while also like integrating like the aspect of SEO in your approach. The FAQ are they're just not like, they're not just the keywords, but we're also trying to rank for the people also asks question or sections of Google search page. I think we have an example in the slide that we use for our HEM blog. So these FAQs may also be a keyword in your content, a keyword that you'll be linking as well as a simple keyword about your program. So in terms like by following like these tips, you can also like strike a balance between like optimizing your content for search engines and providing valuable information to your audience. You need to remember that SEO content should always prioritize user experience, while also using your keywords effectively to improve your school's visibility online. I think we have a poll now, Scott, is it?
Yes, poll time.
So we wanted to ask you, how many of these three things does your inbound strategy incorporate?
And this is our last poll, we promise. We keep asking you questions, but they're really helpful to understand kind of where you are and what's important to you, what's helpful, most helpful for you. And this, it's interesting because as we look at this and go by it slide by slide, you think, okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, well, that makes sense. But then when you list the three things together, you realize this is a bit of work. Like I had to research my audience. I've had to really think through my key marketing messages. Now I've got to research my keywords and plug them in. So yeah, it makes sense, these results here, right, Blanca? We've got kind of a split all the way across. We all do some, and a few of us do all three, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a huge like element of your inbound marketing, and everything starts from the beginning when you strategize and make sure that you have the right elements, starting from the personas as we saw with Scott, then working throughout the keywords. So once everything is in place, it's going to be easier to do all of these three elements that we have mentioned.
Right. Okay, I'll let you keep going.
So when it comes to crafting like SEO friendly content, one highly effective approach in the use of is the use of content clusters. So this SEO content strategy is specifically like tailored to create extensive interconnected collections of content that are centered around specific topics. So its primary objectives are to enhance your organic search visibility and offer an improved user experience. For schools, a logical and strategic way to approach this is to implement content clusters by structuring them around your specific courses or programs that you offer. So I'm not sure, like perhaps like an easy way to understand them, it's like to think like content clusters are like a selection in a library. So you have a fiction, nonfiction, the main sections or the pillar page in our case represents the core topic. The subsections then could be mystery, science fiction. Within it are the subtopics that we want to touch and branch out. So each subsections houses specific content pieces, acting like books on a shelf, in terms like of readers that can so it helps like readers navigate throughout the different topics more easily. And since it's so well organized, same applies for search engines like Google, who are able to understand better the structure and the context of your website, making it easier to rank for. So here's like, we have an example of a content cluster and its elements. So the pillar page, or the page you want to increase your traffic to, and then the subtopics, which are supporting pages. Could be news, blogs, infographics, for instance, that are interlinked with each other and with the pillar page. So in this case, like it's the pillar page that we want to rank for, and that we are trying to include keywords around in the subtopics. So I understand that managing all these different elements may seem like a daunting task with a lot of to think about and to remember. One valuable piece of advice that we can offer is to establish a strong sense of organization right from the outset. A key tool to help us maintain like the structure for our clients is the creation of a content calendar. The content calendar could like include like the carefully researched keywords, the topics that you have chosen, the headlines, and also the due dates, as well as the person that you are assigning them to. So in terms of adding like an organizational structure to your content creation, you're also adding a sense of accountability for yourself or your team members. So that content will need to be created, and it will need to be created on the due date and to be published. Because creating content, we absolutely want to have it online. If it's sitting in your folders, it's useless. So you can also like use like the content calendar to track the URLs for each of your keywords. So each of your keywords is linking to what page. So that could be an easy way to track everything and make sure that everything is organized well. So in terms of content creation, you may already have some pieces, and I think like from the different polls we see that some of you are really ahead in the game. So I would say like one important thing is, of course, you can have like the shorter pieces about news of your schools, what's happening, but what's important is to create content that has that's longer in terms of length, which are the blog posts that we do in terms of content creations. These could be around success stories about your students, interviews with your instructors. There's so many different topics that you can talk about, but what's important is to make sure that they are long form content and not just short pieces, and that they integrate the keywords that you're looking to rank for. So in terms now of social media, so whenever we publish content for our clients, we make sure that it's distributed. If it's just sitting on your website, chances are that it's going to take time to get it views for it. So by including, like by sharing them on social media, incorporating them in your email marketing, you have better chances of having content that's viewed by your audience. In the case of social media, we often share it on different platforms. We don't focus on just one. And one other thing about social media that could be that you can think about is the younger audiences are now using social media as their search engine. So everything that you have learned in terms of SEO for Google, and other search engines, you can incorporate that into your content creation for social media. So when we talked about the FAQs, you know that the audience is asking those questions. So you want to create content that's around them and that answers these questions. We have an example here of a question that's often asked by users on Google, and we just answer it in our social media content. There's also SEO optimized captions. So you want to also include your keywords. Try to include them in your content when you create captions for different platforms that your school is using, just to make sure that you align your content creations and tailor it to each of the platforms that you're working on. And I was talking about making sure that your content is seen by your audience. On social media, I think you cannot ignore the boosting element of content distribution. Often the algorithms are working against us in terms of making your content seen by the right people. So you want to boost your blog post on social media, being it to your followers or being it to a wider audience that could be like a lookalike audience that resembles your personas or the people that you want to reach and talk to. This will get you more views and more visibility. So yeah, in terms of social media, I think that's it for me, Scott. And the next step, it's like really looking at the results, making sure that everything works well.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. And we tried to keep the measurement and results part as simple as possible because it really comes down to trying to measure one or a couple of key places. So going into your Google Analytics is going to be the best place where you can go to basically look at these measurements and see how you're doing after you make a concerted effort to improve it. In Google Analytics 4, in your far left, you see the menu. We're going under acquisition to user acquisition. And what we're looking for is how is our organic search channel growing, and is it growing? So we not only want to see the numbers, but notice that we've done this measurement for a period this year and versus this time last year. It really helps to measure it in a year-over-year comparison. First of all, it's not always accurate to look at this month and last month, for example, because we're all very seasonal. And last month might have been a really quiet month in your whole kind of the life of the school and the life of your prospective students. But if you look at this period versus last year, it helps you to see how is our organic traffic growing. We've made a concerted effort the past year to really improve it because of the personas, the keywords, the blogging, the posts, and this you can see has paid off. We also want to look to the far right and look at the event count and conversions. So event count and conversions at 21,345, those numbers on the far right. These are indicative of clicks on your website from that traffic. So they've clicked on pages that you've identified are really high profile for a prospective student. Maybe they filled out a form and clicked submit. Maybe they took a tour, the virtual tour of the school, or maybe they signed up for something else. These are the kind of clicks you want to measure, especially in the conversions section on the far right. And typically you're going to find that even though organic search may not bring in the most people to your website, they typically do bring in the most conversions. And the reason that is, I'm going to go to the next slide as well. So when we're looking at a goal conversion rate, we're looking at goal conversion rates that are typically higher than other aspects, because whether it's organic search or direct, meaning someone typed in your URL directly, your website address directly, because they know you now, or email is another pathway that you can use organic content, writing content based on your personas again, and including links that drive back to the website. So that's a great inbound tool. No cost to you. You continue to reach out to your contact database and try to re-engage them. Look at the goal conversion rate of the email group. It's 0.48 is the highest among this top group. And we're seeing the most goal completions from that and from organic search. And that's a testament to the quality of this audience. Not only do we want a high quantity, but we want to track your goal conversion rates, your goal completions, to understand how frequently is this audience engaging with us. And like we said at the very beginning, when this audience engages, that's really valuable. These are folks that have now read a few pages on the website, articles, or your program page. They like what they hear and they're ready for a conversation. And that is the kind of a high quality lead you want to gather. So time to just wrap it up, and we're going to head to your questions in a minute. So please, if you haven't typed in a question yet, please do type it in the Q&A part of your Zoom menu at the bottom of the screen. So we talked about defining your school's audience, building personas and key marketing messages, creating content that speaks to your audiences, showcases your school, infuse your content with those keywords that you've done the research to find, add links to social media so that you can drive traffic to the website and boost those posts. Link blog articles topically with your program page. You can create those content clusters so you're much more visible in Google search. And then always go back and try to measure every 3 months or so how you analyze your metrics. It's at this point I want to offer up the opportunity that we at Higher Education Marketing would be happy to have this conversation further deeper with you directly. So if you want us to reach out, you want to set up a meeting where we can look at your inbound marketing, we'd be happy to give you a free assessment. Basically, we'll give you our insights of what we think you're doing really well and where you have opportunities to optimize. So please feel free to contact us. And in the UK, Steve is our guy, and he is ready to take your call or receive your email, and is happy to have that chat with you. So just reach out, and Steve can help you. So I'm going to go into Q&A right now and see what we got. Ooh, so here's one I'll plant. I don't know if you can see it. It's the second one. It's how many keywords or keyword phrases per blog post is ideal? And that's that's a tough one because each blog post is a different length. But Blanca, do you have any kind of initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, it depends really on how long your blog content is. One that we're using, let's say if your blog content is about 600, 650 words, we have about 3 hyperlink keywords. You can also include keywords that are not hyperlinked, but 3 that are hyperlinked would be good.
Okay, good. Got some numbers there. Another good question. How can content creators use AI tools to improve SEO and audience content to increase engagement? We've been talking a lot at HEM about using AI tools to help really improve what we do or make it as good as it can be, as efficient as our work can be. Blanca, how is our content team on our end utilizing AI tools as content creators?
I know that the AI tools are really interesting in terms of now, and the buzzword of the of few
No
lessons.
kidding, right?
Uh, but in terms like of SEO, you can use it in terms like if you want to have like the basics, the starter, just like brainstorm ideas, brainstorm like the initial keywords, but then you have to take those keywords and go into the tools that Scott has mentioned earlier to make sure that they're relevant and that you can rank for them. There's an analysis that you need to do as a person, and strategically think that the IA tool cannot do at the moment. It could just be one of the tools, early tools to use when you start working with the keywords.
Yeah, like brainstorming ideas for keywords and keyword phrases. Yeah. And what we've found, because we've been testing, can AI write this blog for us? Or can AI write this email for us to a prospective student? And what we find is, while it may write an impressive piece that we read and go, wow, how did it do that? Think about what that point that Blanca just said, that human point that your school best. And we kind of go back to the key marketing messages. What makes your school unique? And these are the things that AI does not grab a hold of, does not implement in what it's writing. So what it's writing is nice, kind of glossy, but it's quite universal, right? And so it's really important that you use that personal knowledge and personal understanding of your audience and your school when it comes to writing content. It goes even down to social media posts. You want to connect with people, not just have a glossy piece out there that, that's going to roll right off them. So that's an important lesson we've learned about AI is it does help you in brainstorming, but it can't do the final product for you. And I just want to remind folks, because they're asking, you will receive the slides and a recording of this webinar probably tomorrow or Monday in your email because you've registered for it. So I appreciate that. Last question. For longer blog posts of 2,000 words. Oh, okay, so we're back to the keyword count. So you said 3 or 4 for 650 words. So would that be more like 4 or 8 for a 2,000 word post?
You can go with more. I mean, you don't want to over like we mentioned, you don't want to like have too many of it.
Yeah.
And you want to keywords are also used for you to focus on a specific topic. So if you're using too many different keywords, sometimes it can be harmful in terms also of your piece of content and its focus.
Yeah.
So
That's a really good point.
yeah,
Not just spray 1,000 keywords out there, keep a focus. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Make sure that you choose the right keywords and focus on that, on creating content that's relevant to the user on that, and linking to the right pages. If your piece is about a certain program, you don't want to link about another program or
Right.
something that's useless to the user that's reading the content.
And that actually makes it easier if you take that focused approach. It makes it easier for you to write more content every month, right? So you don't want to throw every keyword into September's blog post or this week's blog post. Save those other keywords for the next week's or the next month's blog post, and that can be your focus topic then. It's important to have a continuous flow of new content, of a new blog post out there, and of course, regular social posting. And by focusing your keyword choices in this blog and then using separate ones for that blog, that allows you to go a longer way and have topics for those subsequent posts. Cool. And I'm going to sneak in one last question that came in. Schools that bid and focus a lot of their writing on branding, when is the right time to do that, and how much time or effort should they spend on focusing their content marketing and organic bidding, SEO work on branding? I mean, initially, my point was that your brand is really going to show up no matter what, if you will, because if they have you in mind, they'll search for you and you'll come up because that's the name of your website, it's the name of your school. It's going to be probably the number one keyword across the board. What's most effective to find prospective students is to go for the keywords that define who you are and how you're different. Blanca, anything more to add on that?
I know, I think you have it. Like, you already have most of your website content that is branded and using branded keywords. So I would say that incorporate into the blog post. You can incorporate from time to time, but focus on more of the different keywords.
Thank you very much. First of all, a lot of great questions. So thanks for that interaction. Thanks for joining us today, and we appreciate you taking the time out. You'll get these slides and the recording in your email soon, and we appreciate you considering us. Give Steve a call if you need some help and some further conversation on inbound marketing, but we'll let you get back to your day. Thank you very much for joining us.